All right, hey, welcome to another 5 on Friday. This is where you ask the questions below and I answer them. Okay, so I want to start out by saying thank you all so much for commenting and watching last week and asking the questions, because if you don't ask questions, I don't have anything to answer, and then we just don't have to do this anymore. Okay, so I really appreciate that. Please take a minute to ask a question, make a comment, hit a thumbs up, share the video if you think it's relevant, and let's get down to it. So I'm going to start out with the first question here. It is from Jake Lambert. Would you ever consider buying another landscape company? Yes, if the people had their shit together, I would. The problem is that I see a lot of people, and I've talked to half a dozen people over the years about buying their companies. I've had them come in, talk to me, and the first thing I say is, can I see your financials? And the first thing they say is, well, I don't know, I don't have my financials. And then I say, well, that's probably the end of this conversation, because without financials, I'm not going to buy a company that I have no clue whether it's making money or not. So that is a roundabout answer to the question. I would consider buying a company, but I think one of the more important things to think about, whether you're a small company just starting out or you've been in business for a long time, keep your financials in order. Hire an accountant if you have to. That's probably the first person you need to hire. Don't try to run your company out of a shoebox. It doesn't work that way, and believe me, people do that. And so that mentality is not going to get you any value when you go to sell your company. I want to know, when I'm going to buy a company, here's what I want to know. I want to know how much profit you made. So what is the net that you made at the bottom line, okay, after you paid yourself? Not, oh, well, I made $50,000 on my company. Well, what'd you pay yourself? $50,000. Well, then you didn't make $50,000. You made your salary of $50,000, but the company made zero. So you need to be able to pay yourself, have a profit at the end of the day. Once you have that system together to where you have a profit, you've got a salary for yourself, you can pay your help, you can pay your bills, and at the end of the day, after all is said and done, after depreciation, you have a 2%, 10%, 20% profit. Now you're talking. Now you've got something tangible. Secondly, a lot of companies that I look at to buy are companies that have contracts. So lawn care or landscape, commercial landscape maintenance is what I'm looking for. I look for those long-term contracts. Do you have contracts that are a year or two out? Because I'm buying your customer base. So if I'm going to buy a company, I need something tangible. I need those contracts, because if you don't have contracts, again, how much is that going to be worth to me if you're asking me to pay to buy your company if you don't have anything in writing to say that we're going to continue this business or have this business? Now, if you have a design build firm, it's even harder. However, you may have a design build firm that's got a great reputation, a great name, and a great backlog. Okay, so that's worth some money. But considering buying other companies, it's a great thing as long as people have their crap together, and as long as you know a little bit about that company, you know what kind of customers they have, you know what kind of employees they have, because don't forget, you're buying their employees too. If you buy a company that's a substantial size, say that, and I'm talking $300,000 to $500,000 range, not multi-million-dollar corporations, you still need to bring a couple of those employees with you so that you can make that transition a little bit easier. All right, question number 2. How do you compensate your salespeople? This is from Bayfish 100. Salary or commission? I also had a follow-up to that. I'm also definitely interested in knowing how you compensate your salesperson, but there's not much information out there on this. Any input would help. That's from Randy Ione. Here's the thing. There is not a lot of input on salespeople for our industry. However, you can look for benchmarks. Lawn and Landscape magazine does a benchmark issue. You can check that out. The National Association of Landscape Professionals now also has a cost study, or it's an employee compensation study. Check it out on their website. As for actually how are you going to pay this person, look, you've got to make it work for you and that person. So I just recently hired a full-time salesperson with my company. I had to work out the details. At the end of the day, you're looking at basically a salary plus a commission type deal. The rule of thumb normally is the lower the salary, the higher the commission. The higher the salary, the lower the commission. If you are lucky enough to hire a rainmaker salesperson, I'm talking about somebody who blows away all the paradigms of what our industry looks for in a salesperson. Somebody that can come in and just sell the shit out of landscaping, whether it's design, build, or maintenance. You'll know it when you see it. But somebody who can really not only talk the game, but live the game and make it happen, that person's worth their weight in gold, okay? But they're very hard to find, and they're very expensive. Right now, a lot of times, the biggest salesperson in the company is the owner. So right now, you know, you have to make that decision, decide if that's where you want to go with your company. Question 3, how did you get comfortable speaking in front of an audience? Do you know that, what's the saying? The saying is that, you know, people fear public speaking more than anything else in the world. I tell you what, if I can do it, you can do it. I'll tell you what, I was always scared to death of speaking in public until I joined the Ohio Landscape Association board. I became a member of the Ohio Landscape Association board. They asked me to join their board, and then they asked me to be the president of the Ohio Landscape Association. And guess what that means? That means you have to get your ass up there and talk in front of people. You have to introduce the speakers. You have to do roundtable discussions sometimes. You have to do panel discussions. And guess what? You don't get to say, well, I can't do it because I happen to be the guy that's the president of the Ohio Landscape Association, which put me out there and forced me to get up in front of a crowd. Best thing I ever did, because now I get to go speak all over the country. I've spoken at the GIE Expo show twice, the SIMA Snow and Ice Symposium. These are big shows, big giant trade shows. I've spoken up in Toronto, all over the country, Minnesota, Buffalo, Pennsylvania, Ohio, all over. Public speaking is a great asset if you can get it down. Not only that, but it helps your company immensely. If you can do it, try it. It'll help you. It'll help your personal brand in a way that you won't even believe. It is so rewarding. It's an awesome thing. Give it a shot. And if you have any other questions on it, again, ask me below. I could do a whole video on that. I got smart this week. I printed out the questions so that I wouldn't have to go scrolling through my computer to find them. So there you go. Hugo Garcia, how much is it fair to pay a team lawn care leader or a main guy on the crew? This is hard, man, because I can't really... Listen, your market's different than my market. I don't know where you live. I don't know where you're at. If you're in LA, you're going to be paying people a hell of a lot more than I'm paying them here in Ohio. So you have to do a little bit of research on the market of what's going on in your territory, what some of the other companies are paying, and be competitive. Okay? If you are looking for a very good key person, they're going to cost a little bit more, but you don't want to break the bank. You can also look, again, at the lawn and landscape cost study. You can also look at the NALP. There's an employee compensation report that I told you about. Just check it out. This thing costs, I don't know how much it is, but you have to buy it on their website. I have no affiliation with them other than that I'm a member, but that may help you steer you in the right direction and say, hey, this is what other companies are paying in my market. But at the end of the day, you don't want to go, you don't want to price yourself out of being profitable for your company by hiring somebody and paying them too much, but you don't want to be too low either. So you have to be competitive. I'm sorry, I can't give you an hourly, you know. I can't just say, oh, $15 an hour, you know, because that's just a number. It's a random number, and you have to dig in and do a little research into your community to find out what the going rate is for that particular position. All right, question number 5, how do you get capital? How did you get capital to expand your company? First off, man, try and make a profit. You know, if you're making a profit, then you can use that money to expand your company. Everybody's different. Everybody's got their own philosophy on how, hey, I'm going to have zero debt. Oh, hey, I'm going to get loans out for my equipment and pay them off, and that's how I'm going to do it. You know what? Either way is the right way as long as it works for you. You know, some guys believe in, hey, I don't want to have to pay for any, I don't want to owe anybody any money. Okay, that's cool. I am in a position where I actually had to get a big business consolidation loan several years ago. I had gotten the loan, it was a small business loan through the government, you know, the SBA loans. Those things are wonderful from a interest standpoint, but they're a pain in the ass from the standpoint of having the paperwork. There's just mounds and mounds of paperwork that you have to do. So getting capital to expand in our industry, you know, a lot of times there are some great financing programs for the lawnmowers. I know that certain companies, everything from, you know, I hate naming names, but, you know, John Deere, Exmark, Skag, they all have different programs that you can use. So take advantage of that. Visit your dealer. You know, you can buy equipment through the dealer and get financing that way. So you don't always have to go to a bank. Going to a bank is probably the hardest. And if you do go to a bank, you have to have all your ducks in a row. You have to show them your financials, back to the financials again. You have to show them that you're making money. You have to show them what your plan is for the next year, 2, 3. And you have to sell them on your business and say, hey, you know, I'm going to be around for a long time. I'm in this for the long run. And, you know, I need this much money. And then they're going to tell you, we can give it to you or we can't. I got turned down by 5 banks before I finally got the okay to get the business loan that helped me consolidate some debt that I had. So that's it. 5 questions on Friday. I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the attention. I really enjoy doing these videos. I enjoy doing the day in the life. I was sick this past week, so I didn't get to do a day in the life video. But I will be back with that next week. I'll continue to do these 5 on Fridays if you guys are into that. Just let me know. Comments, questions, subscribe, share, thumbs up. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you watching. I will see you next time. Have a great weekend. Keep rocking.